thrive. But when the sun sets, I come alive. The world keeps running, but I stand still, obeying your command, Yahuwah's will. No working hands, no toilet ground, only peace and joy abound. A day of rest, a gift so true, Yahuwah, I delight in you. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign I will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. A day for worship, a time to be with family close and heart set free. I hear your voice in stillness deep. You call me close, my soul to keep. Your love surrounds, your spirit leads. You give me rest, you meet my needs. Set apart from worldly ways, I lift my voice in songs of praise. You're coming in, forever stands. I trust, obey, and lift my hands. The work is done, the table set. Your sound and peace I won't forget. I breathe it in, I let it flow. A glimpse of what's to come, I know. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. How are you guys? My name is Jason.
Good.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we cannot thank you guys enough for being a part of our little family out here. It is an amazing journey. It is an amazing adventure when you are in the Torah path, when you are in the ways of our Creator, and when you have figured out that one of the greatest gifts that we have ever been given other than our soul is the Torah. And in fact, our souls without the Torah is probably a no-go. It's probably something that is not a great thing, because when we are in the Torah, when we are walking the Torah life, everything changes. The world you are in completely changes. Your eyes are opened, your ears are open, and your heart has been opened to receive the word of our Creator. And we sit around this world with 400,000 religions, 30 to 40,000 different denominations of Christianity, and every single one of them are contrary. They are different. They have a different set of doctrines, a different set of guidelines, a different set of rules and regulations than what the scriptures say. But supposedly everything is based upon the scriptures, the Bible. So how can it be that we have all of these different religions and all of these different ways, and everybody believes that they have achieved salvation, when it's very clear that salvation is achieved by fear and trembling? It's achieved by obedience to the laws of our Creator, and it's achieved by the faith of our Messiah. Now, there were no J's in Hebrew, so our Messiah's name is not Jesus. It's not Jesus. His name is Yahushua or Yeshua. There's a couple different variations of it, and it's much closer than what this inferior scriptures of the King James that has told us, which his name is Jesus, or the name of our Creator is God. And so it is when you start understanding that the Torah path is for every individual. It's for every single person. There's no There's no Jew or Gentile when it comes down to Torah. It is a simple Torah walk. You become an Hebrew, a chosen one. And when you choose the Torah, then you have chosen the kingdom path. And the kingdom path is a beautiful path. And I talk about it a lot, that when you are in Torah, it is like a breath of fresh air. It is like something unbelievable. And once you realize that there is truly a way out of this darkness that we are in, and it's not this little rapture bus that we've all been told about. It's not this once saved, always saved, get dunked in a tank at 8 years old and you can never lose your salvation, because it's very clear. Matthew 7, I was going over it again this morning, and it very clearly says that there's a gate and a wide path to destruction, and it says few people find life. And if that is the case, and those are the words of our Messiah that have said this, then we should consider, what does he mean when he says most people don't find it? A little bit further down in that same exact verse, the chapter of Matthew 7, it very clearly says, our Messiah, he says, depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Now, in the inferior scriptures that you see, it doesn't say lawlessness, it says iniquity. Because, most people are like, well, I don't live in iniquity. Well, the problem with being in any religion whatsoever that doesn't have their focus on Torah is that you don't know what iniquity is. Iniquity is walking in a sinful nature that is contrary, that is different than what the Torah tells us to walk. And so if we are saved by obedience and by the faith of our Messiah, which Revelation 14:12 very clearly says, along with all of the rest of the scriptures and the Apocrypha, then what are we doing in this religion? We need to denounce religion. We need to denounce all of these pagan cultures and pagan ways and pagan beliefs that we have grown up with, and we need to seek our Creator where he is able to be found. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Father, thank you once again for this day. We thank you for your Shabbat. We thank you for your Torah. Thank you for bringing this family all back together once again after a long week, a week of trials and tribulations, that you have given us your day of rest, that we are entered into your rest to celebrate this day that you have given to us. And we ask that it is blessed with recharge, rest, and that everyone is ready for the week to come. We ask that your Torah today we find many blessings and we can understand your words. We thank you for all. In His name, amen.
Okay, Jade, will you please give us our Shema? And here we go.
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart. You shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as fronts between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Now, does this sound a little bit different than what religion has presented us with, right? We are told that there is, number one, not a trinity. We are told that our Elohim, Yahuwah, is one. Well, okay. So anytime that we hear something different, that the Creator and the Son and the Ruach HaKodesh are all one giant egg and this is the way it is, and they try to explain this, then we have to take an understanding of what biblical hermeneutics is. What we have been told at the beginning of the book is the precedent for all the way through. So it doesn't change. And so we learn right out of the gate in the book of Deuteronomy that our Creator is one. Now, people have talked about this before, and the Christians will say that we love God with all our heart, mind, and soul. But do they really? Because in this, just the Shema right here, and these words, which I am commanding you today, shall be in your heart. Now, what words are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the Torah. We're talking about the first 5 books of Scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Now, all of these books, all of these first 5 books, they were all one big book to begin with, one big scroll. And the people of the scribes of the world have split them up into to books and to chapters and to verses and all of these things. They weren't like that, right? They were Torah scrolls. But these words, which Moshe was commanding them today, they need to be in our heart. Now, how do we add this into our heart? Well, we read it, right? We read it and we walk it and we observe it and we understand it and we keep reading until we totally get it. And I was having a discussion with my beautiful wife this morning regarding her family, everybody is dying off and everybody is keeling over. And I said, well, welcome to hell. And she goes, I wonder if everybody does end up in hell. And I explained to her, as I explained to you guys a lot, that in the book of the Nazarene, which is the very last book in Yah Scriptures, it very clearly tells us that there is a little bug feeling in our stomach, like that calling that our Creator has given to every man, woman, and child to come back to the Creator. And it's not like we can walk this entire lands without having an opportunity to sit down and crack the book open. But most of us will crack that remote open and start watching this horrible crap on TV. We'll start listening to this evil satanic music. We'll start listening to everything other than observing and learning what our Creator has for us. And so when we are to write these on our heart, not only do we write them on our heart, but we impress them upon our children. And then we shall speak of them when we sit in our house. Is this a once a week thing, or are we Torah observant all week long? Is this a part of our life? Do we get up and do we read scriptures? Do we pray? Are we seeking our Elohim Most High where he's able to be found? And he's not found on HBO. He's not found on the Disney Channel. He's not found on Nickelodeon. He is found in the first 5 books of scriptures. We have never had any other scriptures that talk about our Creator walking with his people and how he wants us to operate, live, function, and be a family under his guidance. That's why when we take this guidance of the Torah and we write it on our heart, mind, and soul, we speak of it when we sit in our house and when we're walking, when we lie down, when we rise up, it's something that changes our life forever. And you can't go back. Once you go into the Torah, it becomes a lifestyle. It becomes something that isn't a religion. It becomes something that you do because you do it to obey our Creator. And you're doing it because it's very good advice. It is made by the Creator of the universe who has created every last thing. And I just posted a video last night on my main channel here that showed basically from inception all the way to a birth. And it shows just an incredible process, 9 months. And a little baby is completely formed in the stomach with, inside of like 9 weeks, there's little tiny fingers and things that are being generated. And they sit there and suck their thumb inside their mother's womb. They rub their face. They will sigh and stretch and move around. And it is incredible to see our Creator in action doing what he does best, which is perfected work. And so when we have a perfected Creator that has perfected a design and has given us life and a soul and the ability to live and operate and hear and speak, then what do we have other than, if we are disloyal to him, why wouldn't we be rejected? Why wouldn't we be kicked out of the kingdom to come? Why would they ever give us something beyond this? And you have these people out there all the time that are always like, well, God isn't going to be like that. It shouldn't be like this at all. Why would I have to serve anyone at all? You would serve him because it is the best option for our lives. You will eat clean food. You will know how to operate a business properly without ripping people off. You will know how to love your family. You will know right from wrong. It's a beautiful path. It is a way of life. And so, guys, as we begin this reading today, as we go through these beautiful laws, statutes, and commandments, family, we love you all. This is the family out there, the Torah family that is around this little table digitally and physically. These are the people of our Creator, and this is our family for the kingdom to come and for all eternity. And we can't thank you guys enough for being a part of this. We love you all. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, Miss Nicole, who do we got?
All right, we have Sue. We have Yehoshua in Hebrew means salvation. Rich James, Gina, Learning the Way, which I believe they haven't been here before. Maybe they have, but if not, welcome. Dolly, and I'm pretty sure Jerry's with her, so welcome to both of you. We have a new name, and I'm probably going to slaughter that. Is it Jonas?
Jonasa?
Okay.
I don't know.
Welcome to you. Candy and Ruby, Brandy, Sylvia, Curtis, Crystal, the Grand, Sylvia, I think I just said Sylvia, Mama CA, scrolling, Yeshiyahu 269, welcome to you. Life is such a blast, welcome. Joanna, and I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
Yes, and guys, for
Yeshiyahu's Patricia, so welcome to you.
hi, Patricia. Yes, good to see all of you guys out there, and to everybody in the future who watches this, whenever you guys watch this, the message will always be the same. The Torah way is the best way. And the only other way that we have is the way of Hasatan, right? You have a way that has rejected our commandments of our Creator. They've rejected all the good instructions that we have been given. And these are instructions that we're just about to read right here are beautiful. Now, for those of us who are out there fishing for men in all ways, shapes, and forms, you will mention these laws, statutes, and commandments. And people will go, ha ha ha, oh, you sacrifice animals too? And you have to understand that these questions are all based on ignorance, right? Most people have never read the scriptures. And when you read the scriptures very slowly from the front to the back, you realize that when you were sacrificing animals, you had a mediary. That a mediary was the Levites. And these Levites were the only people that could get you clean enough to walk alongside of our Creator as he was walking amongst his people. Now, we have a mediator that is greater than the Levites. We have a mediator that is greater than the slaughtering of animals. We have our Messiah, and our Messiah is our high priest. He's our Melchizedek priest, and he is the perfect one who is the mediator. And so when you are faced with these people that just scoff and laugh and think it's so funny that you keep the laws of our Creator, it's really sad, right? And as much as they like to laugh and scoff and do all this kind of stuff, it is very, very sad because it is at a detriment of their soul. And all of their jokes, all of their laughing, it's going to be replayed on Judgment Day when they're begging our Creator to save them, when they're begging Messiah Yahushua to save them. And they're like, well, we didn't know. But yet there were people like us who very clearly told them what to do, but we became a joke to them. And it's the same thing that our Messiah says. If they hate you, it's because they hated him first, right? And when they hate our Messiah, that means they hate our Creator, which means they hate his ways. And so, guys, as we go through these laws, statutes, and commandments, we're going to go through them as slow as we can. And we go through them every Shabbat because they are very important. As you guys walk through your weeks, as you walk through your months, and you guys have the Satan always trying to take us to school in every way, shape, and form. And these days, we have a defensive system. The Torah is a living, breathing entity of a defensive system that when somebody comes to us and has us wanting to do something wrong, we know that we would be sinning against our Creator. And this is the power of the Torah, because those who are in Christianity have no such thing, right? In their minds, the laws have been nailed to the cross, and it's been fulfilled. And they still don't understand that not one jot or tittle of the Torah will ever be gone until heaven and earth pass away. And if you're looking out at the heavens, if you're looking out at the earth, then understand that the Torah is for all times, all generations, all peoples, everybody who wants to be a child of the Most High. Now, let us begin and enroll into this. And we
3 people that popped in afterwards. So we have the judge, Brian Honeyman Stitch, and daughter of Abraham. So welcome to you.
Shalom, 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 beautiful brothers and sisters. Again, much love to you. Okay, these are the wonderful, beautiful, astounding, wise, knowledgeable pieces of the Torah. Commandment number 1 is be fruitful.
Commandment number 2, multiply, replenish the earth. So do it. Every other fish, fowl, and every other creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families. Master sin. Every clean living thing that lives shall have food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect. Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Okay, 2 of these commands right here. This one, walk before me and be perfect. These are incredible things, right? How much does this differentiate between the religious system, right? Catholicism, let's pick on Catholicism real quick, right? You can do whatever you want to do in Catholicism, and you would just go before the little fella in the box, and he would tell you how to run penance. He would, hold on to the rosary beads, say 7 Hail Marys, and, throw some holy water on you on the way out the door, right? None of that stuff is in Scriptures, right? We don't have a Levitical priesthood and a people that can help us to absolve ourselves of our sins. It doesn't exist anymore. So the entire piece of that Catholicism is smoked. Now, inside of Christianity, you can just pray to Jesus, right? You can just pray and you can have your sins forgiven, and you don't even know what your sins are because there's no focus on the Torah. Now, it goes further into guarding Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments, and I would again like to point out the size of this command. Look at this. Look at the reiteration of this thing. There is no other command bigger in Scriptures anywhere that is reiterated as many times as this set of commandments, that we are to guard Yahuwah's covenant, the laws, statutes, and commands. So those that come around and say the laws have been nailed to the cross, not only are they blaspheming the ways of our Creator, but they don't understand that what they're saying are fighting words, right? You don't guard something without putting your dukes up. And so these are things that, unfortunately, they will be replayed to those on the days of judgment, and it's a problem. Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah. Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach. Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah, law, for the stranger and for the Hebrew. What does that mean? That means it doesn't matter if you guys come from Catholicism. It doesn't matter if you come from witchcraft. It doesn't matter if you come from some sort of Luciferian, whatever it is. If you want to change your ways and become a child of the Most High, you can absolutely do it. And all you do is the same set of laws, statutes, and commandments that we are going over today. That's the Torah, right? It doesn't matter where you want to come from or what you understand or what you think you understand. You align your lives and your family's lives to the Torah, and this is the laws.
Question.
What you got?
Daughter of Abraham. Are men still supposed to be circumcised?
Yes, it said. And unfortunately, I don't think the medical system does it at 8 days old. But you could probably ask them to do this at 8 days old. But yes, men are still. It's a sign of a covenant, right? It's a physical covenant that men have. Okay. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. You shall not make graven images. Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat, the seventh day, right? Very, very important. Here we are on the seventh day. We are fulfilling this command. If you guys are resting today, you are keeping this command. What an incredible Creator that has given us a day off. You don't find that in this 7-day work week that everybody's working it up and never stopping, right? Even back when we were in Christianity, we would go to a church, from 10 to 12, and then we would go we'd pay a bunch of people to serve us, and we were watch whatever on TV, and it was not a day of rest. When you take a physical day of rest and you fulfill this commandment, then you are strong, your bodies are strong, your minds are mentally strong, and you're ready to crank it out on day one, which is a Sunday. Continue on. Honor your parents.
Do not kill. Do not break wedlock. Do not steal.
Do not make a false accusation against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's. Do not make an altar from rock, though tool is touched. Do not go up to the altar by the steps. If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beasts.
Okay, now, we look at this thing, do not lie with beasts. To everybody that is in Torah, that is a very foul thing. But there is a world that we are in that this is such a thing. And when you have no laws, when you have no statutes, when you have no commands, you have no moral compass, right? You should understand that this is part of the Torah path. And when you say that the laws have been nailed to the cross, that's a dangerous thing, because that sets a dangerous precedent, because according to the Christians, you only have 10 commandments. And one of the commandments they don't keep, because that's the Shabbat, which is the 4th commandment. So all of these commands that you and I are reading right now is not part of any religious system doctrine. There is not one religious system doctrine anywhere out there that you can show me that I've studied upon that has a Torah base, that has Messiah and the Torah base. And according Judaism doesn't do this. This is not Torah. This Torah that we are reading is not part of Judaism. They have all of these other books. They have the Zohar, the Kabbalah, and their Talmud, which are very foul. When you look at the words that are inside of these things, you can do all sorts of crazy evil things that break the Torah. And so we have to make sure that we have only the Torah, that we're not adding to, we're not taking away, that this is our doctrine right here. No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow. Do not charge your brother interest. If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset. Do not curse the ruler of your people. Do not eat what is torn of any beast. Do no false report. Do not follow the multitude of evil. Do not judge unrighteously against the poor. Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray. Help the animals of your enemy. Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Take no bribes. Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year. Do not mention any pagan names. Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk. Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land. Do not make use of anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make use of perfume on a normal person. Do not eat the fat. Do what you say you are going to do. Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. Women's time of separation. Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim. Do not uncover the nakedness of your family. Do not take your woman's sister for wife. Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch. Do not be a sodomite. Be Kodesh, holy. Do not reap the corn of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due. Do not harm the disabled. Do not endanger your neighbor. Do not hate your brother. Rebuke your neighbor for his sin. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not diverse your cattle. Do not mingle your seed. Do not mingle linen and wool. Do not lie with a taken woman. Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head. Do not cut yourself for the dead. Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter. Do not defile your temple. Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders. Have correct weights and measures. Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Here's a big one, right? Do not walk in the manners of the nation. So here we are, right here, right? And this is a something that all of us, we grew up in the nations, right? None of us are in Yisrael, the proper Yisrael. None of us are able to, most of us have grown up without a Torah. Most of us have grown up in some sort of a religious system that is outside of the Torah, that frees us from the laws, that tell us these laws are bondage, right? But yet all of us are out there celebrating the 4th of July. We're celebrating Easter, which is Ishtar, which is all a pagan holiday. Saturnalia, everybody calls it Christmas, but it's actually a pagan holiday. Thanksgiving, when we slaughtered the Indians and then decided to call it a national holiday. All of these different things are the manners of the nations. When we hang out in parades, when we hang out and listen to music, when we listen to the foul types of stuff on TV and all the satanic garbage that is presented on the live vision programming, that's all the manners of the nations. For those who still watch TV and movies and things of this sort, we strongly urge you to separate yourself from this kind of vile path. It is one of these things that it is completely programming you. Your eyes are the windows of the soul. And once you see evil, it's hard to unsee it. It's a bell that cannot be unclung. And so when we are trying to keep ourselves set apart and not walking in the manners of the nation, that means we're different. We don't look the same. We're tzitzit wearing, different looking, different style of people and families, and we are odd, right? Compared to what the world is, when you don't celebrate Christmas, when you don't celebrate these pagan holidays, you look a little weird. Everybody's dancing around with their little red hats on during the Saturnalia time, and it's some of the most evil times of the year. October 31st, right? Halloween, right? Dressing your kids up as little devils and demons and witches and things and having them go trick or treat, right? These are all demonic, satanic things that the nations and the manners of the nations are. And we need to be different. We need to make sure we don't have our lights on. People aren't coming to our house to trick or treat. This is, give people Bibles or something. I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even answer your door during things like this, guys. We, as Yah's people, as the remnant, as a very small group of people, according to 2nd Ezra, the people that are saved are a drop of water compared to a wave. When you think about this, it's something that we really need to align our lives into that understanding and figure out why nobody else is saved. What are they doing that we should be doing that actually ensures our salvation? Continuing on. Do you have something? Anything?
We'll do it in a minute.
Okay.
I have a couple other ones, but we got to get
Okay.
first.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, and Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah. Keep the feast of coat, Shemini Atzeret. If you blast in the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death. If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Obel, the Jubilee year. Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who have trespassed against. The Torah being a Nazir. Wear zizit on the four corners of your garments.
Okay, stop right there. A new person, love and light. She or he says, can you please tell me about the fringes we are supposed to be wearing?
Sure. So let's take a quick look at this. So the commandment, somebody pull up Numbers 15:38 for me, if you will.
You want to have it?
You just pull it up on this so we can because we'll get back into this. So we're going to read this verse real quick about this first. And guys, what you're looking at is you're looking at a free app. And Ms. Nicole, if you can dump the 2 links to this. This app is absolutely free. It is absolutely beautiful. It has 103 books plus the Torah commands right at the beginning. The same stuff we're reading right here. It's a gift from our Creator to all of you guys out there, and there has been so much response, so many people just very, very thankful to this. And one thing about Boss Clan is this was not really Boss Clan doing it. We were allowed to touch the word of our Creator by our Creator. There's nothing special about us. We're not more Kodesh than anyone else. We don't have some kind of holy saint halos. We're definitely just like you guys out there. And so guys, everything that is out there for free is because our Creator has given it to you guys, and he's just trying to bring his remnant to the thing. Okay, 1538, who has it?
Okay. Speak to the children of Israel, and you shall say to them to make zizit on the corners of their garments throughout their generations, and put blue cord in the zizit of the corners, and it shall be to you for a zizit. And you shall see it, and shall remember all the commands of Yahuwah, and shall do them, and not search after your own heart and your own eyes, after which you went whoring.
Okay, so what that verse was just saying is it was saying that we wear tzitzits so that it's a representation of our understanding that we are under the Torah, that we are walking in Torah. Now, a lot of people, especially in Judaism, will have white tzitzits, and that's breaking commandments. And those in Judaism break the commandments because they say there's no blue of the oyster or something of the sort. Snail. It's no blue of the snail that you cannot get anymore. And the commandment is fringes, right? It's 4 blue fringes on the 4 corners of your garment. Now, for us at Boss Clan, we have for the guys, we have a little, and I don't know if you have a web belt, but we have a web belt. I guess everybody in this, we have I guess it's like a military belt or something. It's not even that, but it's just like
It has eyelets all over it.
The whole thing has eyelets, and so it's a belt, and then we have little clips, and we clip it onto the belt. And for those that are looking to get tzitzits, we have a very beautiful little family that makes these custom tzitzits out of the U.S. And their entire family, it's a bunch of gals, and they sat there and they will put together the tzitzits for you guys, and they put a nice little card in there. They pray for those who are getting the tzitzits.
I was going to say they pray over each pair.
Yeah, they pray over every pair of tzitzits that goes out, and that, essentially it's a representation of those who are willing to be obedient to our Creator and His ways. And a lot of people have said they give you spiritual protection. And whether or not they shouldn't be a talisman that, people think that they wield power. But I believe that they do, because you will, when you wear tzitzits, you will end up with a tremendous amount of appointed times. And I'm not saying appointed times as in the actual appointed times of the festivals and things like this, but you will have people that come up to you and go, "Hey, you got tzitzits. Tell us why do you have this? Are you a Jew?" That's the first question they will ever ask you, and you're like, "No, we're not Jews. We don't follow extracurricular books. We're not part of that religious system." And Judaism is a religious system just like everything else. All the religious systems that are out there are foul, phony, fake, and false when it comes down to what the Torah actually says. And so you don't want to be part of a religious system. You want to have a lifestyle of Torah keeping, Torah walking. And so the tzitzits are essentially you're in the club, right? You are in Yah's club. You are walking along with our Creator. And Miss Nicole can stick a link in there for the tzitzits. You can't actually buy them on Shabbat, but they're
typing up right
yeah, you can't. We don't sell anything on Shabbat. All stores and everything are completely closed. You can download the apps, the free apps from the store, and read them on a Shabbat. You will completely burn an entire Shabbat away reading these beautiful scriptures. All right, I hope that answers those questions. Okay, the next one, the next law, the Torah, the laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Who is Torah? The law of inheritance. Torah, keep your oath to Yahuwah. Do not add or take away from the word.
Very important, guys. Look at this command, right? Do not add or take away from the word. Now, Sunday keeping, all food has been made clean. Holy water at the front of a church, a little penguin priest that's sitting there trying to absolve you of your sins. All of this stuff, right? Mormonism, when they're dunking you in a tank at 8 years old, sending off their little ministers when they get out of school and send them worldwide. All of these things are not part of the scriptures. And so when we want to align our lives as the people of the Most High, a lot of times we have to get rid of the programming. We are programmed from birth to believe something, and a lot of what we believe is not true. A lot of it has been fake, phony, false. All of these this indoctrination that we have been into, it brings us into a cult programming, a cult belief system. And so we are told right here not to take away from the word. And when you say that, you take pig and you say, "Oh, this is now a food," well, we have Leviticus 11. Leviticus 11 very clearly says that pig is not a food. So you would not want to pollute your temple. You would not want to pollute your body and destroy yourself by eating something that is a janitor of the world. So it's very important that, and again, don't take it from me. Read the scriptures yourself. This is why we give all of these scriptures away for free. You can put them on all your phones, all your devices, all your TVs, all of your computers. There is a platform for absolutely everybody to read this. And once you get it in your heart, mind, and soul, it's hard for Satan to get away. It's hard, you physically and spiritually have to make it an understanding and a change that you want to follow Satan versus the way of our Creator when you know the Torah. And that takes us to our next command, which is guarding our soul. One of the greatest things that we have ever been given is a ability to have this soul. And you're not going to take money out of this world. We're not going to take jewels and cars and houses and properties and all this other stuff. What you have on your very last breath that you're going to walk away with is a soul. And it's either going to go to a good place or it's going to go to a bad place. Are we consumed in this world? Are we always living in this world? Is the world concerning us, or is eternity concerning us, right? The evil is going to rise up. The evil is going to do what the evil is going to do. It may take our life, it may take everything, but do not let it take your soul, which is when you read scriptures, the only way to guard your soul is by observing and being obedient to the laws, statutes, and commandments, and accepting our Messiah, Yahushua, as our new priest, as our salvation, as the one who is going to be the leader of the kingdom to come. Next command, learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand and front between your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts. Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies. Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah. Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Okay, hold on. This commandment right here, do not do what is right in your own eyes. This is the religious system that you are into, right? nailing the laws of the cross, all been fulfilled, doing what you want to do. That is the modern day Christian religion. You can do what you want to do, you can eat what you want to do, and anybody coming at you and telling you anything different, and these people are fools. That's what we were told all the time. People are all, oh, you don't have Jesus in your heart, you're a heretic. And I'm like, well, we do have the Torah in our heart, mind, and soul. We do have our Messiah at the tippy top of our thought process. This is what it is. So what is doing what is right in your own eyes? Well, it's walking contrary to what the Torah says to do. And that makes people a very dangerous people. I've talked about it a lot, that the Christian religion in of itself, if you're doing business with a Christian person, they're very dangerous. And they may be the nicest people in the world, they may be the kindest people in the world, but they do not have the moral doctrine of the Torah, which means that in the event of some sort of conflict or some sort of issue, they're going to do what's right for them versus what's right according to what the Torah has. Okay, do not hearken to the words of false prophets, Nevi'im.
Do not make any bonds between your eyes for the dead. You shall not eat any abominable thing.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Right.
The Deuteronomy 14:1. Daughter of Abraham says, how can you violate Deuteronomy 14:1?
Well, when somebody dies, I mean, you can start shaving your eyebrows off, right? You can, what we're talking about in Deuteronomy 14:1 is a pagan ritual that people, when somebody would die, they would cut themselves, they would make baldness between their eyes. It was like a death seance. And so this is what it's talking about, is that in mourning, you're not going to be shaving your head off. You're not going to be shaving, between your eyebrows and all of this stuff for the dead. And I think it's a fairly simple command, but it was given to them because they all came out of Egypt, right? They came out of Mitzrayim, and you have a whole bunch of bald-headed guys, and, everybody was shaving stuff here and there. And so it's simply that when people are dying, you don't need to do what the pagans do for death rituals and death ceremonies. Okay, continue on. You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it. Give tithe your increase of seed year by year. The Torah, laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shake your hand from the poor. Guard month one of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
And hearken to the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. The prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with false witness among Torah keepers. The first child is to get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall wear a page to a man, nor a man wear a page to a woman. If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute. Do not use dirty money.
Law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge. If you lend your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if thou its pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
Okay, so there's some questions here now.
All right. What you got?
Let's start with Honeymoon Stitch. He says, how to correct someone who thinks Jesus paid the price for hanging on a tree and they can't lose their salvation.
I would start inside of Matthew. Matthew 7 is probably one of the greatest chapters, and there's a lot of things that one needs to consider is most people will never ever be able to come out of the programming. And it's unfortunate, right? I've worked on my mother for years and years and years, and she's a die-hard Christian, and she does not give a darn about the laws of our Creator. Inside of Matthew 7, if you can get them to read this, maybe Yah will open their eyes, right? Inside of this, just take a quick look. Matthew 7 right here. Inside of Matthew 7 alone, we have a verse right here. 13 and 14, right? Matthew 7, 13 and 14. Enter in through the narrow gate, okay? Because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter in through it. Okay, well, that's good, right? A lot of people are making it through the narrow gate. That's great, right? But then we get to the next verse. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to Kai, which is life, and there are few who find it. Okay, these are some of these things that why do few find it? If there's billions of different Christians out there, if there are all these people that are saved and salvation cannot be taken out of it, then what does our Messiah mean when he says few find life? What does everybody else find? Well, that would be death, right? It'd be a spiritual death. Continuing on, 16 is, by their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Whoa, what does he mean? What does our Messiah mean about good fruit? Right? Anybody around this table? What is good fruit?
Keeping the Torah.
Good fruit is keeping the Torah, teaching others. It's
walking, yeah. And so then, by their fruits you shall know them. And then continue on, probably one of my most favorite verses anywhere right here, right? This is the absolute Christian thing. And the Christians will come back and rebuttal this and throw axes at you for this verse. Not everyone who says to me, Adonai, Adonai, shall enter into the reign of the Shamayim. And so right there, it's like everybody who's like, Master, Master, Jesus, Jesus. Oh, we do this in the name of Jesus. We cast out this, we cast out devils. But he who is doing the desire of my Father in the Shamayim. Gentlemen, what is the desire of the Father?
Keep the Torah.
obeying the commandments.
Obey the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Father. So right out of the gate, they're either going to reject what the desire of the Father is, and then continuing on, it gets worse. Many shall say to me in that day, Adonai, Adonai, have we not prophesied in your name? Have we not navu in your name? And cast out demons in your name and done many mighty works in your name? How many Christian religious systems have you guys seen out there? People are putting their hands on in the name of Jesus, come out, and they're all flipping around on the floor, doing all this kind of stuff, right? What is our Messiah going to say? He's going to say in 23, and then I shall declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me. Why? You who work lawlessness, right? And the King James will show you the word iniquity, and they've changed all of these words around so people don't understand exactly what it is. But they'll say, what laws? We don't have any laws, and laws have been nailed to the cross. And there's nowhere in scriptures that it says this, right? That is not something that is in any of our scriptures. And so when we are talking about lawlessness, we are talking about those who will not obey the Torah. And so if they can't come after reading this slowly, and if you're unable to get to them, all we can do is really fast and pray, and that Yah will do something in their lives to make these seeds. But when you're able to sit with people and to read these kind of scriptures with them, then you're planting seeds, right? And that's the best that we can do, is plant these seeds and try to get the ripples of the perfect lake that we throw these rocks into, and let these ripples do their work. So that is probably the best advice that I got. But you know, most people are stuck. Most people don't care. You know, salvation is something they've earned. They can run with it, and they can never lose it. All right, what, you got anything else?
Daughter of Abraham has questions, but I think people answered it before, so I'll just go to this one that she has now. Can you speak about how in Jasher Joseph cried on Rebecca's grave and she spoke to him?
That's one of those things. Was it in Jasher that happened? You know, it's one of these things. We don't have much doctrine on this. You know, when you're dead, you're dead. You know, that Joseph was struggling, right? Joseph was getting the snot beat out of him. He was getting violated. He was getting busted up. He was on the very end of his last rope. And whether or not it was his mom, whether or not it was the hand of Yah that was speaking to him and giving him a little bit of encouragement, it was enough to keep him going at that point. And so, yeah, I don't have much there's that's the only account that we have of that ever happening, for sure. All right.
Joanna wants to know, how do Torah observant bury their dead?
In a hole? I don't know. The thing is, in Judaism, it's a giant ceremony, right? It's a big thing. When Messiah said, "Let the dead bury the dead," he wasn't being cold and callous. It was that if he wanted to stick around and bury the dead, it was like a 7-day ceremony and all sorts of stuff that happens. In biblical accounts, you hear of days of mourning, right? Weeks, months of when people are dying. So I don't know exactly the proper way. For us, when I'm gone, they're gonna kick me off into a hole in the back of my yard. Down here in the third world country, we don't have to bury people like everyone else. So it's gonna be a kickoff, and hopefully I see you guys on the next side. So there's nothing in Torah that actually gives us any kind of burial rites or how they do it. But all these customs, especially in Mitzrayim, Egypt, they'll embalm you and do all sorts of crazy stuff, and get your body prepared. In the books of Adam and Pakua, they wrapped the bodies up and then they left them in a cave. And so I mean, if you're looking for something biblical, I mean, probably keeping the body preserved and stick them in a box or something of the sort, of some kind. But as far as any kind of ceremonies or anything, we don't have any guidance. We don't know. So, all right, are we good?
Nope.
Okay,
Still
what do we got?
more.
What you got?
All right, the daughter of Abraham, she says she wants to know if any books in Yah Scriptures says it was a fig that they ate.
Who was
Adam and Eve.
Oh, Adam and Eve. Oh, instead of an apple or whatever it is.
Yeah, how'd the apple come about, or what?
We don't know
what
what
did
it
they
is.
Yeah,
actually
we
eat?
don't. Nobody actually knows what it is.
It's just a fruit.
Yeah,
We've
a
probably
fruit.
never seen it.
Yeah, but what's crazy is what year was it? 1986. That Apple computer first came out with their very first computer for $666.66. Might not have the year right, but that I find it very fascinating that the one of the two major computers systems that are out there is Apple, right? And so everybody's celebrating the bite out of the apple. Everybody is celebrating. You look at the logo of Apple, and it's a bite out of the apple. And so it's no coincidence that they have become who they became and what they became. It's no coincidence that Billy Bob Gates is running the greatest spyware software ability out there that has built-in Prism. I'm not going down that hole. But these people that are the devil's greatest warriors are very much, the devil's greatest soldiers are very, very successful in all their stuff. So we don't know what kind of fruit per se it was, but I think we read in other parts of the Apocrypha that there were other fruits that were even better looking or something other than this. But the hand of Hasatan he's a devious one, definitely a devious one. Okay, anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, let's get into this, Jade. I need you to let's see. Where are we at?
Numbers 29.
Numbers 29. Jade, give us a breakdown of the world of where we're at right here in this
So
beautiful
the children of Israel have been out of Egypt for quite a while now. They've been wandering around this desert. They got cursed for 40 years because they couldn't stop complaining, and they got scared and they complained again. Well, this time they ended up intermingling with the people of Moab, going astray, worshiping other things, sacrificing, and it became really bad. Yahuwah sent a plague and started basically wiping them out because they were sinning. Pinecos, the son of Eleazar, the priest, he ended up running a spear through two people because they were very evil and they were leaders of both Moab and Israel. And Yahuwah so decided the plague, a whole bunch died. Yahuwah had them take a census, and then we learned that one of the leaders didn't have any sons, so basically the inheritance would go to the daughters, and they came to Moses about it, and that's where that law came about. If the father doesn't have any sons, if anybody would give it to, then it goes to the daughters, if he has daughters. And then we learned about sacrifices and what Yahuwah wants to do with sacrifices and what he wants us to bring, how he wants us to do it. Now here we are.
Yeah, and Honeymoon Stitch is talking about Jasher and Jubilees, and there's a lot of people with a lot of different beliefs. If we didn't think that Jasher was inspired, we would not have put it inside of the text. And what we like to tell people is don't toss the baby out with the dirty bathwater. And there is, I'm actually reading Jasher myself. That's my Shabbat reading that I started reading again. I just made it through Enoch and some other books, and reading through Jasher is what you have is Jasher is one of the largest books in all of Scriptures. It's a ginormous book that has a tremendous amount of doctrine that we have into this. And the thing about this is you don't get other commandments out of it, right? We're not told to drink the blood. We're not told to, look at our kids naked. We're not told to anything that goes against Torah. What you're looking at is you are looking at a very large historical account that I do believe was written by the hand of Moshe or somebody of the sort. There could be some stuff that is fabricated. There could be some stuff that is a little bit wild. When you hear about some of the children of Yisrael when they're taking over, what was that city? What's the city with that dude took off with a kid?
Shemech?
Yeah, Shemech. What was it? Shechem, and then what was the city? City of Shechem. City of Shechem. And so, sorry guys, there's so much. My mind is old, but it's one of these things that it's definitely part of a biblical system. It's part of history. You don't get other commandments out of it. If somebody wants to say that there's something that could not be inspired, there's a lot of argument about Jubilees, right? Because inside of Jubilees, you get other commands that we don't have in regular Torah. Like you should not have sex with your spouse on Shabbat. And that has actually been a suicide style scriptures, because we've lost people on this channel because we discussed that particular verse. And when you look at the rest of Torah and you look at what makes a man cling and uncling and all this kind of stuff, it makes a lot of sense that that is thrown in there. But when you're looking at through the scriptures, it's not a good idea just to toss out books, especially these. I don't find any kind of I don't find that they're not biblical or not inspired, and so I will leave it with that. Let us continue. All right, I want to read the Bible. Yeah, I agree. Daughter of Abraham. It doesn't contradict scriptures in anything. A lot of the problem that people seem to have with Jasher is that the children of Jacob, when they did their little wars, it looks like, these guys are Supermen, right? It looks like these guys were the craziest killers, assassins of all times. And, the hand of our Creator can make people the greatest warriors of all times. We have a tremendous amount of different accounts in scriptures to where our Creator has sent messengers killing off hundreds of thousands of people. And so I don't see that it's impossible for the wars that happened in Jasher to have not happened. And so I think that's one of the biggest sticking points for a lot of people, is they think that that part is possibly figment or like has been souped up. And I don't think it is. But it's all up to you guys, right? Read your scriptures, and when you read the Torah very, very slowly, very clearly, you read the rest of the scriptures, and then you break out into the Apocrypha. That's when you are ready to read through the Apocrypha, because you've read through the scriptures and know through this stuff. And the battles is one of my favorite parts too. Don't mess with Yah's people. That's always going to be the message, that you may be the lowliest one of all. You may be the minority. You may be the small guy on the totem pole. But if you are under the hand of our Creator, and you're fighting against great evil, you better be careful. Okay, here we go. Numbers 29. And in the 7th month, on the 1st of the month, you have a Kodesh gathering. You do no servile work. It is a Yom Teruah for you. And you shall prepare a burnt offering as a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 part for the bull, 2/10 part for the ram, and 1/10 part for each of the 7 lambs. And 1 male goat as a sin offering to make atonement for you. Besides the burnt offering with its grain offering for the new moon, the continual burnt offering with its grain offering, and their drink offerings according to their right ruling, as a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And on the 10th of the 7th month, you have a Kodesh gathering, and you shall afflict your beings, and you do no work. And you shall bring near a burnt offering to Yahuwah, a sweet fragrance, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, they are for you. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 part for the bull, 2/10 part for the ram, 1/10 part for each of the 7 lambs, 1 male goat as a sin offering, besides the sin offering for atonement, the continual burnt offering, with its grain offering and their drink offerings. And I'm looking outside. It looks like the rain is coming. Amazing. Okay, we're going to try to make it through this, and hopefully it doesn't get too loud. We're on a little tin roof out in the middle of these jungles, so bear with us if it gets a little loud. 12. And on the 15th day of the 7th month, you have a Kodesh gathering. You do no servile work, and you shall celebrate a festival to Yahuwah 7 days. And you shall bring near a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah, 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones they are. And their grain offering, fine flour mixed with oil, 3/10 part for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 part for each of the 2 rams, and 1/10 part for each of the 14 lambs. And 1 male goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering and its drink offering. Then on the 2nd day, 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 male goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offerings with its grain offering and their drink offerings. And on the 3rd day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for their lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. Then on the 4th day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering, and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for their lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 male goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. Now, a lot of these guys, people get, a lot of this confused, right? When the people are like, oh, do you offer up animals to kill too? Well, I explained it to begin with. We don't have a Levitical priesthood, right? We would not be able to keep this appointed time as they are talking about this, because according to when Aaron's kids offered up strange fire, what we're led to believe is that they might have been a little sauced up. They might have been just a little bit drinking and jacked that entire ceremony up. So none of us are trained Levitical priests. None of us would even know what it was. And I wouldn't trust even the Judaism side of the house on any of this stuff, because, the Levites, there are Levites, but as far as being ordained and understood and schooled in this kind of a practice, they don't exist right now. And so we wouldn't want to attempt to keep this appointed time with, killing off the animals and trying this and doing all these different days. So this was back in the days when they were having Yom Teruah. 26. Then on the 5th day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. Then on the 6th day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering, and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. Then on the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 lambs a year old, perfect ones, and their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, by their number according to the right ruling. And 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the 8th day, you have an assembly, you do no servile work. And you shall bring near a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah, 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 lambs a year old, perfect ones, their grain offering and their drink offerings for the bull, for the ram, and for the lambs by their number, according to the right ruling. And 1 goat as a sin offering, besides the continual burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. These you prepare to Yahuwah at your appointed times. Besides your vowed offerings and your voluntary offerings, as your burnt offerings, and your grain offerings as your drink offerings and your peace offerings. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel according to all Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. Okay, let us get into our Basora. And this is the good news. And so some of these readings are a little dry, right? I would say that one is a little dry. It's one of these ones that, you know, it's a historical thing. It's something to understand the process and the people. And it's also, you know, it's a piece of joy knowing that our Messiah is able to, you know, bring a lot of this to a conclusion, to a lot of this having to have a man-made priest. And you know, the difference between a man-made priest and our Messiah, you know, even in the book of Hebrews, is very, very clear that our Messiah is the perfect priest. He doesn't have to atone for his own sins. Whereas all of these priests, before they ever began these ceremonies, before they ever began this stuff, they had to atone for themselves and for their families. They had to run their own sacrifices before they ever became acceptable in the eyes of our Creator to be able to do any of this. Okay, now let us get into, do we have anything in chat? Okay, let us get into the book of Lucas 11. And Jade, what do we got?
So we are in early days of Yahushua's ministry. He has found his disciples. He has teaching and healing, doing miracles. He went and found 70 others, sent them out 2 by 2 into different places to go heal and cast out demons and bring the good news. And then we meet Mary and Martha. And Mary was hanging out with Yehoshua. Martha was all cooking and cleaning in the house when Yehoshua was over. And she was upset with her sister. And Yehoshua said it was better for her to be learning and being with him than it was doing other stuff. And that everything was okay. And so we are in his ministry.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Lucas 11. And it came to be, while he, Messiah Yahushua, was praying in a certain place, as he ceased, one of his Talmidim said to him, Adonai, teach us to pray, as Yochanan also taught his Talmidim. Now this is a very, very important piece of scriptures right here, right? We have an entire religious system that prays to Jesus. They pray. I've even heard people like it was Lex on one of these Torah channels, and where he's telling people he prays to the Ruach HaKodesh. That's not in scriptures, right? If we want to be people of the Most High, if we want to do things as our Creator has told us to do, this is his Son giving us the exact formula. Now, Messiah is not going to say, when you pray our Yahushua sitting here on the ground, let your name be Kodesh. This is how we pray. And he said to them, when you pray, say, Our Father, in the Shamayim, let your name be Kodesh. Let your name be holy. Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on earth as it is in the Shamayim. Okay, this is a rapture-breaking scriptures, right? All of these people in a false doctrine are sitting here waiting on the rapture. My mom believes that at the end of time, she can be sitting there eating her pork and lobster and shrimp and whatever else unclean food that's all blessed, that all food has been made clean, that this guy named Jesus is going to grab this bus and he's going to be taking all these disobedient kids off into a place. And the thing about the kingdom is the reign is coming. According to scriptures, we have a new Jerusalem that is going to be popping down at the top of Mount Zion. It's going to be an incredible event when this happens. And the world is going to look at this and everybody's going to be like, all right, let's go fight this guy. Let's go fight whatever's happening right here. But it's not that let your rapture come. It's let your reign come. Let your new kingdom come. And also let your desire be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? Very important stuff. Continuing on, give us day by day our daily bread. Gentlemen, what is our daily bread?
That is the Torah.
Yeah, the Torah is our daily bread, right? That is what fulfills us. That is what makes us strong. And, Boss Clan is now doing a lot of fasting. Everybody in this house we're doing days of fasting. Today is our refueling day. And you can go 55, 56 days without food. You don't need it. Our Creator has built us in such a fashion that when you get past day 3 and 4, your body goes into a mode where your stem cells are completely regenerated by themselves. All of these sicknesses, all of this disease, all of this worldly stuff where we have destroyed our temples, you can repair everything. Diabetes is completely healable. I've talked about this before. Guys, when I came off of my fast, and for those of you who, we were just talking, I did a 4.5 day fast. I folded a few hours after that, guys. I started getting very, very sick feeling, and I folded. My blood sugar normally is about 110, right? 120 if you're not eating. My blood sugar after I ate the entire day was 90 and 80. My body has never, ever been as healthy as it was after coming off that 4 3/4 of a day fast. And so today is our refill day. And today is at the end of Shabbat is our last meal. And I am going to try to make it into next week, into the end of Friday. I'm going to try to make it 6 days, and hopefully I can do it. But my body is literally being healed right before my eyes of a disease that a doctor told me I had 1 year left to live in January of this year. And his advice was, listen, you need to take insulin, or you need to take these drugs, or you'll be dead. And he was very upset with me because he was a friend of mine. And I told him I'm not going to do that. I'm not injecting myself. I'm not doing all this stuff. I'm not falling into the hands of the big pharma at all. And so it was until I started fasting that I could not figure out exactly how to fix this. And when I had an entire day where my blood sugar looked better than normal people who did this, I am so jacked that this is something that is completely possible. So when it says right here, give us day by day our daily bread, this is the word of our Creator. This is the Torah. This is the laws, statutes, and commandments. And that will sustain us even through fasting for, 50 days. Continuing on, and forgive us our sins. For we also forgive everyone who is indebted to us. And do not lead us into trial, but rescue us from the wicked one. Big stuff, right? Forgive everyone who is indebted to us, right? Forgive us our sins, for we also forgive everyone who is indebted to us. That's a big piece, right? A lot of us are very unhealthy because we're very angry at a lot of people. A lot of us have been abused as children. A lot of us have been sexually abused, physically abused, all sorts of stuff. And we hold on to a lot of this all our lives, and it makes us very unhealthy. Our heart rates are high, our blood pressure's high, our blood sugar's high. If we are holding on to those who have debted against us, to those who probably absolutely deserve a beating for what they did to us, that's not our job to give. That is what the Creator of the universe everything will be leveled, right? At the end of days, those who are tossed into Sheol and all of this is replayed to them, that's where retribution has begun, right? Vengeance is mine, saith Elohim. And so we need to understand that for us to live a very clean life and to have our hearts right, we have to forgive and we need to forget. Remember, Messiah saying that don't bring a sacrifice to your Creator until you have forgiven those, right? That's a very big piece of this. Continue on, 5. And he said to them, which of you shall have a friend and go to him at midnight and say to him, friend, lend me 3 loaves, since a friend of mine has come to me on his journey, and I have not to put before him. Then the one inside saying, do not trouble me, the door is already locked, and my children with me are in bed. I am unable to get up and give to you. I say to you, if he does not get up and give to him because he is his friend, he shall get up and give him as many as he needs because of his persistence. And I say to you, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened to you. Very, very powerful words right here, right? And a lot of people will reject our Creator because they believe that their prayers have been rejected. Something that we have to understand is that our prayers need to be in the will of our Creator. Sometimes we're not meant to get well. Sometimes we're not meant to live a very long life. Sometimes we are here for a very short moment. Sometimes it's not in the will of our Creator, right? Sometimes it's just not going to happen. But the thing about prayer is that we have a direct line to our Creator. We have not just been stuck here without a call line, without a help line, without phone a friend, without phone Elohim. That's what we have. And so it doesn't hurt to ask, but when we are asking, it should be, if it is your will please heal me. If it is your will, please heal my kids. If it is your will, right? And because it's all going to be the will of our Creator. And just like the apostles when they were asking Messiah is, who sinned? Why is this guy blind? Is it, was his parents sin? Did he sin? And not always is it a sin-based thing. Sometimes it is to show the glory and the power of Elohim Most High. And so we need to make sure that we understand what this means and not reject our Creator because we think He's rejecting us because we don't get our way. We don't know the power and the will of our Creator, and sometimes it's not what we think it should be. Okay. 10. For everyone asking receives, and he who is seeking finds, and to him who is knocking it shall be open. And what father among you, whose son asks for bread, shall give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, shall give him a snake instead of a fish? Or if he asks for an egg, shall give him a scorpion? Well, we are the people of scorpions down here. We have a lot of scorpions, lots of them, lots of huge ones that come in. It's absolutely something you would not want to have around, right? It's something you would absolutely not want to get bit by. And this is an example of our Creator loving all of you guys. How many verses are in this one?
54.
54. It's starting to rain. Hopefully I can make it through this. I don't want to rush this because this is a very important chapter. If it gets too loud, guys, we're probably just going to end it. We'll start with Luke 11, wherever we left off next week. But this is an example of our Creator loving us and wanting to give us what we are asking for, right? So it doesn't hurt to ask, as long as it's in the will of our Creator. 13. If you then, being wicked, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more shall your Father from the Shamayim give the Ruach HaKodesh to those seeking Him? Now, that's the big thing about this, right? It's the Father giving the Ruach HaKodesh. It doesn't mean the Father giving you money. It doesn't mean that He's helping you pay your power bill. It doesn't mean that He's giving you a new car or making things better in that regard. That's something that we are in a testing land. We are being tested continually, daily, from the time of birth. We are always being tested. And so when we get the Ruach HaKodesh, that is the greatest gift that we can ever get, is the power of our Creator bestowed in our temples. And this is why we need to be clean. We need to be, we don't need to be alcoholics. We don't need to be drug addicts. We don't need to be, hooked on big pharma. We need to have our minds, our hearts, our beings clear and clean and be ready that we can receive the Ruach HaKodesh, that we can have the power of our Creator dwelling in us. 14. And he was casting out a demon, and it was dumb. And it came to be, when the demon had gone out, that the dumb spoke, and the crowds marveled. By some of them, but some of them said, he casts out demons by Beelzebul, the ruler of the demons. And others trying were seeking from him a sign from the Shamayim. And he knowing their thoughts, said to them, every reign divided against itself is laid waste, and a house against a house falls. So if Satan also is divided against himself, how shall his reign stand? Because you say, I cast out demons by Beelzebul. Now if I cast out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your sons cast them out? Because of this, they shall be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the finger of Elohim, then the reign of Elohim has come upon you. Anyone want to explain this? Jade, Kate, Eli, anyone?
Well, Yahushua was in their midst. Yahushua was in their midst. He was bringing power to the people that followed him.
And how can we cast out demons by Satan? Right?
We can't, because basically Satan doesn't cast out Satan. Satan wants his demons to be in people.
Yeah, and so it'd be if Messiah was truly casting out demons by the hand of Satan, then it wouldn't work, right?
Probably be putting more demons in, if anything.
Yeah. Okay. And sorry guys, it's getting a little rainy here. Let's continue on. 21. When a strong man, having been well armed, watches over his court, his possessions are in peace. But when a stronger than he comes upon him and overcomes him, he takes from him all his armor in which he trusted and divides his booty. He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters. When the unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest. And finding none, he says, I shall return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it swept and decorated. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last of that man becomes worse than the first. Okay, this is something we're all reading on a weekly basis. Those of you who are following our other readings in the book of Enoch, when the fallen angels mated with the women, they ended up with 3 generations of giants, the Nephilim, the Nephilim, and the Eliud. And those generations of whole groups of generations, they didn't have souls like we have. And so when they died, they became the demons that are haunting us. And Messiah very much talks about, these demons, what's happening to them, right? They go through dry places. They're thirsty. They are looking for a host. They're looking for somebody to inhabit. And this is one of the reasons that we as Yah's people absolutely need to keep our temples clean. We need to keep our minds clean. We need to keep our minds from drugs and from alcohol and from all of these demonic forces that will absolutely open ourselves up to a demonic entity. And there's a tremendous amount of unclean spirits. I believe we are very much in the end times to where the unclean spirits are, you got places like CERN, and CERN has been talking about now for like a decade that they are opening portals, and they even talk about these things coming out of the portals. So all of these things that have been bound and then put away to the end of times, I believe that all these Satanists and demons and people that are infiltrated are opening up, right? And they're trying to open them up. And you look at the politicians of the world, you look at this new world order, and all of these people that are against humanity, especially since 2019, 2020, 2021, those years, you can see the entire world is complicit with all of one thing, and that is to eliminate the human population. And so we need to be very, very clean, very aware, and very pure when it comes to our bodies. Continuing on, 27? Yeah. And it came to be, as he was saying this, a certain woman from the crowd raised her voice and said to him, Baruch is the womb that bore you, and the breasts which you nursed on. But he said, Baruch, rather are those hearing the word of Yahuwah and keeping it. What in the world? This woman said that his mother, Mary, is blessed, right? Blessed is this woman. This woman must be very blessed. And indeed, she was probably an extremely beautiful woman in terms of spirituality. And it wouldn't have been on any other way. It was an amazing woman. But, you have the Catholic religion, and that's who they pray to. They pray to Mary, right? They'll sit there and run their rosary beads and pray to Mary, and Mary is the intercessory, and they don't actually talk to Elohim Most High, because they sit there and it's all about Mary. But this is in the Basora. This is the doctrine that the Christians should have. This is the doctrine that all of the so-called religion should have. So what did Messiah just say when he said, Baruch, blessed, rather are those hearing the word of Yahuwah and keeping it? What is the word of Yahuwah, gents?
Torah.
The Torah. The first 5 books of scriptures, right? Not only hearing the word, but it's Shema, right? Hear and obey. That's he just reiterated Deuteronomy 6. The same thing that we read when we first started keeping this. Hearing the word of Yahuwah and keeping it. Guys, this is what the kingdom people are all about, right? We're not about nailing the laws to the cross. Messiah didn't come for another religion. He didn't come with a little rebel pirate flag and said, hey, my dad's stuff is trash. Come join my new way. But yet you have the Christians, and they have a new way. You have all of these different people, all these different religious sects throughout the entire world, and not one of them is complicit with the scriptures. Continuing on, 29. And while the crowds were thronging, he began to say, this generation is wicked. It seeks a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of Yonah the Navi. Okay, what was the sign of Yonah the Navi?
Well, that was Nineveh, him going to Nineveh and basically telling the people to repent.
Yeah, and that was it. It wasn't like, he didn't bring down brimstone fire, although Jonah he really wanted to, and he was very ticked off that he didn't get to see a little fireworks and a little bit of action. But these people repented, and the sign was Jonah himself, right? He went and he preached. He told people, hey, you're going to be destroyed. For as Jonah became a sign to the Ninevites, so also the Ben of Adam, Messiah Yahushua, shall be to this generation. The sovereignness of the south shall rise up in the judgment with the men of this generation and shall condemn them. For she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Shalomah. And look, a greater than Shaloma is here. Now, them are fighting words for the Pharisees and Sadducees, right? Oh, bigger than Shaloma, the Son of the Most High? This guy is speaking blasphemy, is what they thought, right? How could a greater than Shaloma be there? According to all of them, he was like the greatest one of all, even though Shaloma, as wise as they said, he was one of the biggest fools of that generation. I have no idea if Shaloma made the kingdom or not. After all the evil that he did, all the women he had sacrificing to other Elohim, he was a commandment-breaking guy. He was the one of the greatest Gentiles, Freemasons. He was a necromancer, talking to the dead, working with the dead, trying to bind up demons, and he wasn't a great guy. 32. The men of Nineveh shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah. And look, a greater than Jonah is here. And no one, when he has lit a lamp, puts it in a hidden place or under a basket, but on a lampstand, that those who come in shall see the light. Guys, what is the light?
The Torah.
The Torah is the light of the world, right? We have a light and we have a bigger light, right? We have the Torah of light, we have Messiah Yahushua of light. Both of these guys, right? This is why I am always getting real excited when you and I are talking around this table, right? This is why I'm always like, look, the Torah is a living, breathing entity. When you guys take a breath of fresh air of the Torah, it changes you. Right? It's like getting hit by a 4,000-pound logging truck that comes by, you're standing in the middle of the road, it takes you out. It changes you. It cannot not change you. When you understand the Torah, it becomes a light, and the last thing you want to do is hide it. Right? We are to the point where we are always out there telling people about it, telling all the prisoners about it. And a lot of prisoners scoff at us. A lot of bad fruit comes out of prison, but there's also a lot of good fruit. A lot of Torah keepers inside prison that have come to Torah, that have come to the truth, that have come to the light. The light of the body is the eye. Therefore, when your eye is good, all your body also is enlightened. But when your eye is evil, your body also is darkened. See to it, therefore, that the light which is in you is not darkness. I talk about this a lot, guys, right? The eyes are the windows to the soul. Every time you embrace into pornography, every time you embrace into an evil rated R movie or whatever movie, it doesn't matter if it comes out of Hollywood, if it comes out of anywhere, it's an evil entity movie. It's not something. You're being programmed by those who are trying to entertain you, Satanists, demons, Luciferians, those who are child sacrificers. Those are the people that are putting these movies together, and you don't want to have your soul darkened by bringing evil into your bodies. So we need to see, therefore, that the light which is in you is not darkness. 36. If then all your body is enlightened, having no part dark, all shall be enlightened, as when the bright shining of a lamp gives you light. And as he spoke, a certain Pharisee asked him to dine with him. So he went in and sat down to eat. And when the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he did not first wash before dinner. Okay? This is a Pharisee thing, right? This is the reason that we have a commandment not to add to and not to take away from the Torah. This Pharisee has all his Talmudic laws. He has all of his, the Kabbalah, the Zohar, all of this stuff. And inside of it, they have a ceremony that you have to wash. You had a spot outside that you did this little hand dance that you wash on one side, wash on the other side. You don't just go eat. They saw it as a Gentile way. And so the Pharisee was like tripping out. He's like, wow, he did not wash. 39. And the add-on said to him, now you Pharisees make the outside of the cup and dish clean, but your inward part is filled with greed and wickedness, mindless ones. Did not he who made the outside make the inside also? But give in kindness of that which is within, and see, all are clean to you. But woe to you Pharisees, because you tithe the mint and the rue and every plant, and pass by the right ruling and the love of Elohim. These you should have done without leaving the others undone. These are fighting words, right? You're dealing with a group of people that have their own army, right? The Pharisees and Sadducees had their own people that would take you before the Sanhedrin. They would take you before the Pharisees, and they'd kill you. They would take you outside the gates and kill you. So when Messiah Yahushua was doing this, this was heavy. This was heavy stuff, right? You don't do this to these people because these people will kill you. Woe to you, Pharisees, because you love the best seats in the congregation and greetings in the marketplaces. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you are like the unseen tombs, and the men walking over them do not know. And one of those learned in the Torah answering said to him, Teacher, when you say this, you insult us too. Yeah, that was his point, right? That was exactly the point, was he was there to insult them and to try to get them to understand this Pharisaical, Sadduceical ways of reading the Torah, interpreting the Torah, is not what our Creator has had in mind. We have a simple set of laws, statutes, and commandments, and when you have this oral Torah, the things of the old people, the old rabbis that they have written down, and it becomes your doctrine, this is not what it was supposed to be. That's the bondage, is taking other religious systems and putting them into you, and you end up with penguin suits and all of these things tied to your arms and all sorts of things, little hats, things of that nature. 46. And he said, Woe to you also, you learned in Torah, because you load men with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. This is one of the big things, right? The Jews will actually hire a goyim. Somebody is not their thing, to flip their lights on, to turn their lights on and off. There's all these other things that they're, when you're unwilling to flip the light switch, when we live in the age of technology that we live in right now, you're bearing others down, right? When you have hired somebody to go turn your lights on, you're loading this up. All of these other Torah commands, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, all these people, that's the thing about the Jews. They believe there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of laws that you have to keep. It's why the words of Paul are very confusing, because Paul was a great Pharisee. He was an astute one. He was at the very tippy top of this echelon. And when he says things about women not speaking in a congregation, the widows having to be qualified widows, all of these other things, it doesn't make any sense to us that are in Torah, because we don't have these other burdens that we hear, right? It's very important that we keep Torah and only the Torah. 47. Woe to you, because you build the tombs of the prophets, Neviim, and your fathers killed them. So you bear witness that you approve of the works of your fathers, because they indeed killed them, and you build their tombs. Now, this particular time that he was sitting here, you had people frothing, right? Their faces were red, their ears were red, they were ticked off. These people were ready to beat Messiah Yahushua up. These were literal fighting words, especially he was among the Pharisees saying this stuff. So these, Messiah Yahushua was not here to make peace. He was here to make war. And the words that he was saying are very, very true, because he knows his father's Torah. He knows the ways of the Torah, and all of these guys, they've gone astray. Coming out of Babylon, they ended up with all of these other books, all these other laws, all these other statutes, and they are against the laws of our Creator. Labeling somebody a goyim, which means that you are lesser than a dog, is in the extracurricular oral Torah. This is not loving your neighbor as yourself. This is not what it takes. This is when you say somebody's lesser than a dog and you can beat them, steal from them, do whatever to them. How are you ever going to convert anybody into the Torah-based world when you absolutely hate these people? It's insane. 49. And because of this, the wisdom of Elohim said, I shall send them Neviim and emissaries, and some of them they shall kill and persecute, so that the blood of all the Neviim, which was shed from the foundation of the world, shall be required of this generation. From the blood of Hevel to the blood of Zechariah, who perished between the altar and the Mishkan. Yes, I say to you, it shall be required of this generation. Woe to you learned in the Torah, because you took away the key of knowledge. You did not enter in yourselves, and those who were entering in you hindered. Very big stuff, right? According to the Jews, you cannot teach women Torah, right? Women are just they're second-class citizens when it comes to should they ever know Torah. And that is a ridiculous thing. That is the most ridiculous thing ever, because who's looking after your kids while you're at work? Who should know the Torah as well as you? Your entire family should know Torah. There's one laws for the stranger. There's one laws for those who are of Yisrael. And all of us need to know these commandments. We all need to walk in them so that we can observe them, that we can teach them, that we can tell others about them, right? And what they did is they literally took away the key of knowledge to people. 53. And as he was saying this to them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to oppose him fiercely and to draw him out on many subjects, and seeking to catch him, to catch somewhat from his mouth, so as to accuse him. So there we go, guys. That is the end of our reading today. For all of you guys that made it to the end of this, much love to you. Mr. Cole, what do you got?
I just want to put a shout out to Brandy and Sue. So she said they lived in darkness. They were both, I'm not sure if Sue was, but Brandy said that she was in prison. She was on drugs. And in 2022, Yehoshua woke her up. So she's been sober for 3 years in October.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, definitely shout out. Shout out to all of you guys who are coming from darkness and going into light. It's never too late, right? It doesn't matter what drugs you're on. It doesn't matter how bad the alcoholism is. It can all change. And I will say that fasting is a very good way to begin to afflict your body to the point that it will heal itself, heal your lives, get you into a spiritual realm to where we are able to seek our Creator with everything. So much love to everybody out there. Mr. Cole, you got more?
More questions.
What you got?
The daughter of Abraham wants to know, is filing bankruptcy, is it against the Torah?
No, I wouldn't, because you're not supposed to borrow from the nations anyway, so I would say give it back to the banksters. That's just my 2 cents. I can't stand banksters and all their evil ways, right? They give you a mortgage on your house so they can take your house away, right? There's nothing good in the bankster land. We're not supposed to be borrowing from the nations at any point. If there's a system to clear your debts out with this, I would say clear them. I don't know. I don't think that's against Torah, but I mean, what we would have with borrowing from the nations is that we shouldn't be borrowing from the nations. So give back to the nations what they tried to take from us.
All right, another question from daughter of Abraham. Why did the guy give up his concubine to those men to have them do anything, and why did Lot offer to do the same with his daughter?
Yeah, those are great questions, right? Well, the guy. Anybody want to take this one? Anyone? No. So the thing with Lot, there's a lot to consider. Number one is the men of Sodom were trying to bring the men messengers out to rape them, right? Sodomy, right? And so, of course, the town's called Sodom. But that, it would have been better probably for a woman versus a man. And again, Lot doesn't get the Father of the Year award at all. And, even further on into his little expedition, there's been a lot of arguments. People have really, really argued with me that, the text says that Lot didn't know what he was doing when he, ended up mingling with his daughters. But, I've been down the rabbit hole of drinking a lot, and it doesn't go like this, right? I mean, there's just, yeah, you can black out, you can have it, but I mean, you're going to functionally stop at some point, and I don't know. I don't know if that is what happened, or if they all thought the end of the world was happening, and so they thought they were going to continue on with their lineage. Lot does not get Dad of the Year by any chance. Now, the guy that offered up his old lady to these people, I don't think it was supposed to go down the way it went down. And that was one of these things. This is the incident where he cut up the women, right, into the 12 tribes. This is Benjamin that did this, right? I think it was the tribes of Benjamin that did this.
Yeah. It was a Levite, and the tribe Benjamin went crazy. Yeah. And that's where they promised to never let any of the tribe Benjamin live, and they had to do weird things so the Benjamin didn't die off, and it was very strange. It's
definitely a weird part of scriptures. I don't know why. I mean, none of this is Torah based, right? None of it is anything that our Creator or His Son would approve of. He wouldn't be happy with any of this. It's just not the right way to make it happen. So, I mean, I guess I don't have I don't have an answer for that. But it's definitely a twisted part of scriptures, no doubt. All right, anything else?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
All right, beautiful family. We love you all. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace.
With that being said, do you think that Jacob really didn't know it was Leah when he was intoxicated? The thing about this, when you read the Apocrypha, is Laban, it was, I guess it was really, really dark. That is one of these things that is, it's one of these things that it's up for debate, definitely, right? It's hard to imagine that somebody who loves somebody as much as they do, you know, obviously their voices were different, their bodies were different, their frames were different, and all of a sudden, you know, it's one of these things. Did it just happen? He was married to her and he just continued on with the night before he got up in the morning and objected to the entire thing. I don't think alcohol was the end of it. I think maybe there was a deceit. The entire family was part of this whole deception, right? Leah included, Rachel included. She was forced into this whole thing. I'm sure many hearts were broken that night. I'm sure it was a very horrible endeavor, and so it is what it is because the 12 tribes of Israel came from them and the 2 other women as well, 4 women included into this whole thing. So it looks like the hands of the Most High. I'm sure the Most High wasn't too pleased with it, but that's how it went down, and that's how we ended up with the 12 tribes of Israel that all of us are members of to some degree. So I guess I don't have a lot of answers on those. Great questions, though, sis. All right, much love to you all. Hit it, Eli.
Walking steady on this road you made, every step guided by your ways. When I listen close, I understand all your truth held in your perfect plan. Rising higher than before, lifting praise from deep in my core. Lifting praise, Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. In the morning when I rise to pray, in the evening as I end each day, every word you speak becomes my song, teaching me where I belong. Rising higher than before, your truth is what I'm living for. Living for Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. I love your love surrounds me. Your love surrounds. I love your truth has found me. Your truth has found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me. Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you.
right, beautiful Remnant family, we love you tremendously. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the hand of the Torah forever be in your lives. May Messiah Yahushua always be our focal point. And may we all high-five each other in the kingdom to come, knowing that we were an obedient people to our Creator. Much love to you guys all.
All right.